Yes, hello everyone. My name is Mensah Kibalan. I'm a tech lead at Universal Equations. But I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about the Red Hat Enterprise Linux. It's been around for about 2 decades. It's been around since 2003. Before then, there was Linux, there was Red Hat Linux, and eventually it became the Red Hat Enterprise Linux. It earned the E in between the H and the L. Um, I guess we can talk about the history a little bit. I mean, Linux itself, as a legend would have it, it was a guy by the name of Linus Torvalds, I believe, who created Linux as a hobby in 1991. I believe. I think he was basing it on a version of Unix. So, because yeah, Unix came before Linux. So I just wanted to make that clear because um, if I say Linux originated in 1991, then the Unix people may feel left out. So yeah, the Linux itself started in 1991. Unix was long before that. The operating system wars that had been around, for decades before then. So I don't want to go on and on about it, but I think it's enough to because so many companies use Linux, and just to give an example of where Linux is now, and I should say a lot of that has to do with Red Hat. So it's almost hard to separate Red Hat from the Linux or Red Hat from the enterprise Linux because with the Red Hat's distribution of Linux comes their well-known support, and their support has been an asset for them in being able to support not only their operating system but also platform services and et cetera. So Red Hat deserves a lot of credit, and getting into the Red Hat Enterprise Linux, um, like I said, that came around in 2003, and it came from a merger of Red Hat and Fedora, because Fedora was also working on a Linux project. So that came together and became the Red Hat Enterprise Linux. And like I said, it's 2 decades, 2 decades, and Red Hat's one of the leading contributors in the to the open source version of Linux. They contribute to a lot of projects. I mean, their standing in the open source community is well known. So so what makes an enterprise? Like I mentioned, the support. Um, Red Hat is serious about security because, and even getting underneath that, I think the crux of what I'm trying to say is there are Fortune 500 companies that use Red Hat Enterprise Linux, right? So they can't just use any Linux. I mean, if we're talking about New York Stock Exchanges and supercomputers and stuff like that. Um, when you get to that level, you need high performance computing. Again, you need the support. You need to know the security patches are going to be there. Um, and though, we love the open source community, obviously, we do want someone, that's taking responsibility, for those things. So, that's how we get the enterprise in between the H and the L, the Red Hat Enterprise Linux. And just to take it a step further, I'm about to close, but just take it a step further. Microsoft, who is fully committed to their Windows operating system, has also embraced Linux. They offer, for example, they offer a SQL Server for Linux. SQL Server um, is their database, is their primary database that they offer to customers. They offer that for Linux. It'll run on. They have a offering that'll run seamlessly on Linux. We'll just get into, so that's just one example. We can get into companies like SAP that you can run their stuff on Linux very well, and we can go into a number of other examples. Um, Oracle Linux was based on the Red Hat Enterprise Linux distribution, so it just goes to show just how much of a pillar Red Hat has become, and by extension, their Linux distribution, but how much of a pillar they became not only in the open source community, but in the tech community. And I think that's really all I need to mention. I think that's enough. I think you get the picture. But anyhow, we'll talk a little bit later.